Without him I would be dying. Without him I'd be enslaved. Without him life would be hopeless. But with Jesus, thank God I'm saved. Jesus, oh Jesus, do you know him today? You can't turn him away, oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Without him, how lost I would be. Jesus, oh Jesus, do you know him today? Please don't turn him away, oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Without him, how lost I would be.
Jesus, our Savior and King. We believe in the kingdom of heaven, and we will sing, we will sing. We believe in you, you us your glory, showed us your grace. We believe in you, believe in you. You are mighty now to save. This is the day we'll declare it. Jesus, whose power made us free. And your light will shine out in the darkness, so all will see, all will see. We believe in you, believe in you. You have shown us your glory, shown us your grace. We believe in you, believe in you. You are mighty now to save. When Jesus appears in his glory, and everything broke and renewed, every heart will be humbled in reverence, and we will sing, we will sing. We believe in you, believe in you. You have shown us your glory, shown us your grace. We believe in you, believe in you. You are mighty now to save. We believe in you, believe in you. You have shown us your glory, shown us your grace. We believe in you, believe in you. You are mighty now to save. You are mighty now to save.
Oh, the deep, deep love of Jesus, vast, unmeasured, boundless, free, rolling as a mighty ocean in its fullness over me, underneath me, all around me is the current of your love, leading onward, leading homeward to your glorious rest above. Oh, the deep, deep love, all I need and trust is the deep, deep love of Jesus. Oh, the deep, deep love of Jesus, spread his praise from shore to shore. How he came to pay our ransom through the saving cross he bore. How he watches o'er his loved ones, those he died to make his own. How for them he's interceding, pleading now before the throne. Oh, the deep, deep love, all I need and trust is the deep, deep love of Jesus. Oh, the deep, deep love of Jesus.
Would you all please rise?
Passing all the rest. It's an ocean full of blessing in the midst of every test. Oh, precious friend. You will bring us home to glory, where your love will never end. Oh, the deep, deep love, all I need and trust is the deep, deep love of Jesus.
You may be seated. The Lord has blessed us with a beautiful day to remember a beautiful lady. And we're very appreciative of your presence here today. On behalf of the family, thank you for coming and showing your love for Judy and for this family. We're going to begin this service this morning by listening to a beautiful song, In the Garden. Judy Hill, 78, of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma, was born May 23, 1943, in Collinsville, Oklahoma, to Yvonne and Maxine Griffith Youngblood, and peacefully passed away Saturday, November 27, 2021, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Judy worked for 20 years as a chiropractic assistant for several different chiropractors in the Muskogee area. She lived in Collinsville for 18 years, then moved to Fort Gibson, where she lived for the last 53 years. Judy was a woman whose presence was larger than life, with a kind spirit and a generous heart. She met, fell in love with, and later married her best friend, Jim Hill, on September 21st, 1962, in Collinsville, Oklahoma. Together they shared 59 years, 2 months, and 6 days, making beautiful memories together. Judy was first and foremost of all a loving mother to her 3 children. She loved bluegrass music, gardening, camping, and helping others in their time of need. Judy was a devoted Gigi, and she gave them endless love and memories they will cherish forever. Judy loved her family and her friends unconditionally. She loved her church and was a faithful member of the Fort Gibson Church of Christ. She was loved by many and will be greatly missed. Judy is lovingly survived by her husband, Jim, of the home, daughters Robin Gray and husband Billy of Owasso, Oklahoma, Carol Evans and husband Brent of Sallisaw, Oklahoma, granddaughters Hillary Traylor of Owasso, Oklahoma, Christina Mitchell of Owasso, Oklahoma, Haley Emerson of Euless, Texas, and Hope Evans of Sallisaw, Oklahoma. Grandsons Jared Hill and Justin Hill, both of Grand Prairie, Texas, and Hayden Evans of Muldrow, Oklahoma. Great-granddaughters Rosalie Evans, Liliana Traylor, and Josiella Traylor. Great-grandson Ramsey Mitchell, brother Jimmy Youngblood of Catoosa, Oklahoma, sister Louise Townsend of Collinsville, Oklahoma, and extended family and many friends. She was preceded in death by her mother, Maxine Griffith, her father, Yvonne Youngblood, stepmother Faye Youngblood, and son Stephen Hill. This afternoon, she will be laid to rest, her earthly remains, at the Starnes Cemetery. I have a number of memories that I would like to share with you, but I'm going to incorporate those into the message in just a moment. At this time, Judy's daughter, Carol, is going to come and share some precious memories that she has.
When asked if someone wanted to speak today, there was never a question in my mind that I wanted to say some things about my mom, about our mom. So I asked each person in our immediate family some memories, because I wanted this to be a time of definitely of celebration. So that's mainly what I'm going to share today. So Mom and Dad met. Dad first saw Mom at Lake Uchi dancing on a slab with a friend while her daddy was playing the song Chicken Reel. Their family was very musical, and that was a special moment for him the first time he ever saw her. They fell madly in love and quickly got married, and were married for 59 plus years. I can say that as a family we're so proud. 59 plus is a long, long time. A lot of highs and lows, a lot of trials and tribulations, but they stayed together and worked together. It was such a good example for the rest of us. My sister Robin, the oldest, her memory was one day Mom let her skip school, and they went antique shopping with one of Mom's friends. And she enjoyed that day, and it was a special day for her. She loved camping, the lake, playing games, swimming, and some of the best breakfast foods, especially the fried biscuits. That was a camping food must. There were the fried biscuits. One of my memories that we talk about all the time was a little bit of a funny one memory. At our house, we had this blue plush rocking chair that sat in the corner, and she just sat quickly down in that chair one day. It flipped over backwards in the corner, and she could not get up. She couldn't get out either way. So after about 5 to 10 minutes of laughing, we finally managed to get her up out of the chair. But that was one of my fun memories with my mom. And I always remember she had a devotional study, and her Bible right next to her chair, there's a little table with a light, and there's always a book there with her Bible. And most mornings when she was able to, that's where she did it, or outside on the porch, always. One of my husband's memories were, most of them were just memories with our kids, but he always tells everybody that he fell in love with me, but he loved my parents so much too that they sealed the deal. So I wasn't the deal sealer, but my parents were. So that was a big thing. So Hillary, she said, one of the granddaughters, Grandma had a face that she would make when she was in the kitchen, when she would stir vigorously. And we would all spread the word and run to the kitchen just to watch her make that crazy-looking face as she was cooking in the kitchen. So she would let, Hillary also said she would let Liliana dump all the things out of her purse and play with all the things. It didn't matter what it was. She got to do whatever she wanted to. And she loved to teach all of the things in the kitchen. I think that's where a lot of our memories come from, is in that kitchen area. Christina, her other granddaughter, weekends when it was just her, she remembers them fixing all her favorite foods, salmon patties and macaroni and cheese, and going to Harps to rent the movie of her choice to watch. So renting a movie is kind of an old thing nowadays, but she loved taking us for walks in the woods, to the creek, teaching us about the kinds of plants and trees because she knew them all. She knew them all. She had a big green thumb. She could grow anything. We also loved hearing them play bluegrass music. That was a big part of their lives and ours too. Hayden, the grandson, loved the wild ideas she did every Christmas. His favorite was the one of throwing of tinsel and confetti and ringing the jingle bells every time someone came through the door. He says, heaven is going to be a sparkly place. Every time somebody walks through, they're going to get blasted with confetti. Haley, other granddaughter. Grandma would always let us sit on the kitchen counter when she cooked, letting us watch whatever she was making. She'd always explain what she was doing and why, and always letting me be a part of it in some way. It was my favorite spot to sit during the holidays. And to this day, she still sits on the kitchen counter, whether it's at Grandma's house or at home. But Hope, the other granddaughter, she remembers Grandma taking them outside to dig up wild onions. And they would take those wild onions and they would make scrambled eggs with the wild onions. And that was one of her favorite memories. This is the first time she ate scrambled eggs, too, was out there at their house. But I saved this one for last because it's the hardest one to read. Jamie, my daughter-in-law, has been with our family about 6 years. The first meeting with Judy, we somehow ended up greeting in a lip-to-lip kiss. It's always a funny thing to talk about, too. And as I grew to know and adore her, I learned how deeply she loved people. She truly and wholeheartedly loved like Jesus, and it's something she never contained. During every hello and goodbye, I felt her genuineness, her kindness through those tight hugs and handholds. And I know the members of this church have felt those handholds and those hugs too. And the last thing was just this week, after we lost Mom, her great-granddaughter Rosalie walked over to Grampy and she said, "Where are you, Gigi? Where are you, Gigi?" And we reminded her that Gigi was with Jesus in heaven, and she raised her arms and said, "Yay!" So I think that's the kind of attitude and love we need to have, and know that, yay, that she's there now. Thank you.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering. it someday for a crown. To the old rugged cross I will ever be true. Its shame and reproach gladly bear. Then he'll call me someday to my home far away, where his glory forever I'll share. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown, and exchange it someday for a crown.
When I learned of Judy's passing, there was a passage that immediately crossed my mind that I knew would have to be a part of the message that I share. And that's Proverbs 31, the words of King Lemuel. You know, it's interesting. The book of Proverbs is, for the most part, written by Solomon. But right at the end, in what we call it now the last chapter of Proverbs, there are these words of King Lemuel. If you do a little research, you'll find out that nobody really knows exactly who that was. But as he describes the ideal wife and mother, it is such an incredibly beautiful and meaningful description that clearly the Jews felt as if this absolutely had to be a part of what we now call the Old Testament canon, and included what he wrote here at the end of Proverbs. There are a lot of people who, when they read this, go, well, nobody can live up to the picture that's presented here. But there are some who come pretty close. And I really believe that Judy Hill was one of those women. You know, we are so blessed when we cross paths with what I call a Proverbs 31 woman. We owe so much to them. Because a woman of godly conviction who loves her children and loves her husband and loves other people, as is described here, is an absolute, complete, total blessing to everyone who has an opportunity to know her. To be called a Proverbs 31 woman to me is to move in a very elite and rare and beautiful circle. And I believe that Judy lived in that circle. And so I want to begin by just reading what King Lemuel writes here. And I want you to just think about Judy in light of what he says. An excellent wife, who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She opens her hand to the poor. She reaches out her hands to the needy. She's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Another passage that came to mind as I was thinking about Judy comes from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where Paul discusses the incredible importance of agape and the characteristics of agape, which is translated there as love. And at the end of that discussion, in the last verse of that chapter, verse 13, he says simply, "So now abides faith, hope, love, these three. The greatest of these is agape, is love." That holy triad of virtues that Paul elevates above all the others in regard to their importance, faith, hope, and love, I believe characterize the life of Judy Hill. Faith. She was a woman of faith. Anybody who knew her knew that Judy was a Christian, knew of her faith in God, knew of her convictions. And it wasn't just that she was a person of faith. Also very important, she was faithful. She was faithful to Jim. She was faithful to her children. She was faithful to all her family. She was faithful to her friends. Above all, she was faithful to her Lord. James will talk about faith, and he'll say, listen, faith without works is dead, and it is. Show me your faith without your works, I'll show you my faith by my works. I believe Judy showed us her faith by her works. A few years ago, actually just a couple of weeks ago, I presented a sermon on Sunday night talking about the Christian disciplines, and I touched on the discipline of solitude, a discipline that a lot of times people, particularly in our culture, don't think a lot about. How important it is that we be alone with God, that we be silent and know that He is God. Judy came up afterwards, and she would often do this to comment on something I had said. And Judy said, when we moved to Thailand, I was pretty much by myself. She said Jim worked and was away, and I couldn't speak the language of the people, didn't really know anybody. And she said, in that time of solitude, I studied the Bible and read the Bible more than I ever had. And she said, I grew more during that time than I had ever grown before. And I thought, that tells you a whole lot about that woman's heart. I mean, off in a foreign country, away from everybody, there's a zillion different things she could have chosen to distract herself, a zillion different ways that she could have chosen to spend her time. And it says a lot about her faith that she chose to spend that time drawing closer to God, studying His Word, and deepening her faith. She was a woman who really believed in prayer. And that is a reflection, I think, of her faith. Time and again, she would be requesting prayers for loved ones, for friends. She believed very much in the power of prayer. And obviously, if she believed in the power of prayer, she believed in the power of God. And that was reflected in her life. Our church secretary here, Janet, was sharing with me yesterday that Janet had a group of ladies that we called the Grow Ladies that met together, and Judy was a part of those Grow Ladies. And it was interesting. She said, the other ladies looked at Judy. She called her as the wise one. Everybody would talk and give their opinions, but when Judy spoke, the wise one spoke. They recognized her faith and the wisdom of her years. By the way, she brought up about Judy's meatloaf, how good that meatloaf was. I had a group of guys we called Grow Guys, and the wives of the men, Jim was involved in that group, and the wives would make meals for us when we met. And the guys always looked forward to Judy cooking, and guess what they looked forward to? That meatloaf. If you ever had a chance to wrap your lips around Judy's meatloaf, it was really, really good. But Judy's life reflected her faith. Hope. Jim said he wanted this to be a celebration, and it is a celebration. It is a celebration in part because of her hope, and because of the hope that comforts all of us, because Jesus walked out of that tomb, because Jesus lives, because He's now in heaven. In John chapter 14, listen to what Jesus says carefully. Sometimes I think we kind of blow through it and we don't really pay attention to the power of what He says. You believe in God. He's talking to His disciples here. Believe also in me. Listen to it. Believe in me. Trust me. Fellas, in my Father's house are many rooms. And if it weren't so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, so that where I am, there you may be also. Unequivocally, He is telling them, you are going to live on. And there is a special place waiting for you. Trust me. That's the way it is. That's true. Later, the Apostle Paul, when he writes his last letter, the one we call 2 Timothy, in 2 Timothy chapter 4, again, listen to this apostle. I've fought a good fight. I've finished the course. I've kept the faith. Henceforth, there's laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me in that day, and not to me only, but to Judy, but to all them that love His appearing. Paul was looking forward to that crown of victory. That's the word that's used there. But he said that crown of victory is not just for me. That crown of victory is for all those who love Jesus. Okay? There's tremendous hope there. Paul, in Romans chapter 8, writing about hope, says, hope that's seen's not hope. And that's right. I mean, if you can see it by sight, you don't have to hope anymore. But he goes on to say, we hope for what we do not see. We wait for it with patience. Judy's hope's been fulfilled. Judy now lives by sight, not by faith. She now sees what we still can only hope for. But that hope is rooted in our faith. Our faith in the victory of the Son of God over death. And then love. Agape. Anybody who knew Jim and Judy knew that Judy loved her man. She loved Jim. She loved her children. She loved her grandchildren. She loved her great-grandchildren. You couldn't talk with Judy very long about what they weren't going to come up. She loved them. She loved her church family. She loved her friends. She would serve whoever and wherever she could. That was the kind of attitude she had. That was the life she lived. A few weeks ago, we did trunk or treat here. And Jim and Judy came, and Judy brought her little puppy with her. And she brought that puppy so the kids could enjoy that puppy. And she just circled through the crowd, and all the kids would pet the puppy and want to hold the puppy and see the puppy. And Judy was just in her glory, man, walking that dog around and letting all the kids play and see that dog. That was just Judy. You know, there are a lot of folks who leave money behind, but they leave broken hearts and broken lives and a lot of regrets and a lot of shame behind too. The most valuable legacy, I believe, that a person can leave behind is a legacy of love, of faithfulness, a legacy of which children and grandchildren and friends can be proud. They can say, that was my mother. That was my grandmother. She was my friend. That is a very, very, very special gift. And Judy left that gift behind. In a moment, Brent's going to lead us in a song. When Peace Like a River. Jim told me that he and Judy had visited about the funeral service and what songs they would like at the funeral service. And one of those songs was When Peace Like a River. And when Judy was ill in the hospital, and Jim was there by her side, you'll love this, he started singing When Peace Like a River. And he said she sat up. She couldn't say anything because she had tubes and whatnot in. But she sat up and she just went, I'm not ready to go yet. Okay, clearly that's what she was saying. We didn't want her to go home, but God called her home. And she has won the victory. And this is a time, yes, a time of sadness, but it is also a time of great joy and of celebration. Brent.
Let's sing together.
When peace like a river runs in the highway, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my heart thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul.
Life is like a mountain railroad with an engineer that's brave. We must make the run successful from the cradle to the grave. Watch the curve that fills the tunnels, never falter, never fail. Keep your hand upon the throttle and your eye upon the rail. Blessed Savior, thy will guide us till we reach that blessed shore, where the angels wait to join us in thy praise forevermore. As we roll across the trestle, spanning Jordan's swelling tide, you'll behold the Union Depot, into which your train will glide. There you'll meet the superintendent, God the Father, God the Son, with a hearty, joyous greeting, weary pilgrim, welcome home. Blessed Savior, thy will guide us till we reach that blessed shore, where the angels wait to join us in thy praise forevermore. All right. Blessed Savior, thou wilt guide us till we reach that blessed shore, where the angels wait to join us in thy praise forevermore. In thy praise forevermore.
My sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, when I lay sleeping, I dreamt I held you. Mistaken, so I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for carry me home. I looked over Jordan and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, coming for to carry me home. Feel myself is heavenward bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends that I'm a coming too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. chains fall away, starting today. Everything has changed. I'm finally free. Everything has changed. I'm finally free. In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled and striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe. This gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones he came to save. Till on that cross, as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live. There in the ground his body lay. Light of the world by darkness slain. Then bursting forth in glorious day, up from the grave he rose again. And as he stands in victory, sin's curse has lost its grip on me. For I am his, and he is mine, bought with the precious blood of Christ. No guilt in life, no fear in death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry to final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand, till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand. All this ever be found? Could a garden come up from this ground at all? You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Oh, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. Oh, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. You make me new. You are making me new. You make me new. You are making me new. Making me new. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Oh, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the Oh, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us.
Someday when my last line is written, someday when I've drawn my last breath, when my last words on earth have been spoken, and my lips are sealed in death, don't look on my cold form in pity, don't think of me as one dead. It'll just be the house I once lived in. My spirit by then will have fled. I'll have finished my time here allotted, but I won't be in darkness alone. I will have heard from heaven the summons to come on home. And when my body is place Jesus went to prepare. And after all is said and done, know that my last earnest prayer is that my loved ones be ready someday to meet me there.
Tempted and tried.